Hi, this is Shelley Segal, and you're listening to Torrent This with Dando.
It's the Torrent This podcast. I am Dando, and today my guest is a woman whose latest video for a single Morocco has been creating a heap of controversy over the past couple of days, already tipping well over 30,000 views. It comes off of her new album, An Easy Escape, which is set for release on June 6th, and she'll be playing a gig in Melbourne on June 13th at the Northcote Social Club. She's, of course, Shelley Segal. Shelley, how you doing?
G'day, Dando. Good, thanks.
Now, how's your day been? Busy? Doing interviews we were just discussing?
Yeah, very busy doing some interviews and doing some work for my label.
Yeah? Such as?
Yeah.
What-
I run my own label, True Music.
Mhm.
So I've been working on my campaign and my new album, and also some of my other artists. Insert plug here. Lester the Fierce. I don't know if you.
Lester is awesome. I interviewed her last year, and to ask her if she remembers the Grape guy. I reckon she will.
The Grape guy. All
Yeah.
right, I will. But yeah, she's pretty special. She's in the middle of a single release at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
January. Yeah, she played that live
Going
for
really
us. It was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you must be besides doing all that, you must be glued to your computer, just refreshing the YouTube channel, watching the views go up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been it's been moving very, very fast.
Yeah.
And, it's been great getting a response. You know, often you put things out and you don't get a response. This response has taken me by surprise. I didn't expect this, but yeah, it is good to be getting your stuff out there for sure.
Your publicist, the very sexy Emily Chung, was telling me that Tone Deaf love you for it.
Yeah, Emily is very, very sexy and the coolest PR girl in town for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, and we've been in to see Tone Deaf a couple of times, and they've been really supportive. And it was really nice of them to share the clip, and I don't think they expected that kind of response either.
Yeah. Well,
Starting off international conflict, you know.
yeah. Well, despite, like we said, the amount of attention it's been getting, it's clear you have seemed to have pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's interesting because we put the song out, and then Tone Deaf did an exclusive premiere of the clip. And what happened was a news blog in Morocco picked up the story, and they reported it as, Australian artist Shelley Segal produces song that is very critical of Morocco, and they said that I denounced the kingdom. So, really putting words in my mouth.
There's some big words.
Denouncing. I've never denounced anything. I think that's very dramatic. And so, all these thousands of people that have been watching the clip in Morocco have been watching it through that lens. They've read the story saying that, I'm being very critical, and so they've looked at the video in that way, and that's the perception that they've taken on. So, I mean, that gives a bit more of a context to the really aggressive, negative response that I've been getting.
So you don't think it's like a case of they're just watching the video and getting annoyed? It's they've already going into it not liking it because of the media, the way they reported about it.
That's what I believe. Well, I hope so anyway. But I think that makes sense, because if you're just watching it on its own, I don't think there's anything that could really be taken to say that I'm denouncing Morocco or criticising the country as a whole. To me, I'm just sharing my experience of a cherished trip that I had there. And actually, some of the comments have been really positive as well. I mean, they're kind of hidden between all the fat cow comments. But they're there, and, people have been really supportive and, saying that the songs resonated with them and encouraging me, and I've got a few new supporters out of it, so that's been really, really nice.
But one of the comments that sort of caught my attention was obviously from a woman, and it says, "Thank you for this. I'm a Moroccan girl, and yes, most Moroccan guys are horny as fuck. Thanks for revealing this." What's your reaction to a comment like that?
I guess, I was happy that, as I was saying before, that the song resonated with her, and it felt like it reflected something of her life, and that was, being put out to other people. That's cool, it's cool to get a response like that.
Well, you've said in an interview, I think it was for AMH TV or something like that from last year, that you don't like to attack anybody. Do you think like
Yeah.
people such as her are just getting the wrong message with the song?
Yeah, so the thing is, I wouldn't say that I think all Moroccan guys are horny as fuck. I think that's I'm sure there's some guys that are horny as fuck, but that's not really a localized issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like to make blanket statements like that, and that's not what I'm trying to get across in the song. Actually, it was a really cool thing that happened while I was there. When I was traveling in Morocco with my friends, that's what inspired the song. And everyone was, a lot of people were asking us for money, and eventually, you start to get a bit turned off by that. And then this one guy came up to us, and he was saying, "Oh, Rasta, play me a song," because I was carrying my guitar, and I said, "Oh, that's going to cost you because nothing's free in Morocco." and he said, "Oh, you think you know a place because you've been here for a couple of days," and he was a real being a cheeky smart ass, and I thought that was really cool. So we ended up hanging out with him and went for a meal and ended up spending the rest of our trip with him, traveling. We traveled with him to Essaouira, and he was a local guy. He was one of the most amazing guys I've ever met. He was really smart, and we had a great time with him. So I think it's just silly to paint a whole country or a whole people with one brush and one comment, and I think that it makes no sense. It's really simplistic and doesn't really get you anywhere.
Yeah. Her comment does have some like proof though. When guys post comments like about your big boobs, you know what I mean? Like they're paying you out, but they still have to mention your boobs. What's that got to do with anything? Clearly, they're angry, but they're still very horny men.
Well, another thing I thought from the comments, this doesn't have to do with the horny thing, but everyone was kind of commenting and saying like about how I looked and that I was ugly and I'm fat, and that somehow discounts my opinion. Like even if I was ugly and fat, that somehow that means that I shouldn't get to talk about anything, and I think that's ridiculous.
Perhaps you should write a song about your big boobs, and they might actually enjoy it.
I think that would probably get a few views.
Definitely. I'd like to see that clip.
Big boob song.
Yeah. So the song is basically, it's just about your trip to Morocco, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what kind of things caught you off guard when you were there, besides that story you just told then?
Yeah, I feel like the song really reflects kind of my experiences while I was there, which is first I was coming with my friends who imagine like a beautiful holiday with in the marketplace and just a really accessible time. It's a very accessible place for tourists, the marketplaces and the beach side. It's really beautiful and welcoming, and so this light-hearted, carefree, fun time. And then as I spent a bit more time there and started to spend more time with the locals, started to see some of the darker side of things. Like in the second verse in the song, I talk about one night when me and my friends were jamming in the park, and this little boy came up to us, and he was 8 years old, and he just wanted to kind of sit with us while we played music, and we let him play the drums. And just hearing about his life, and we gave him a little toy, we gave him a Kinder Surprise, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so happy I can give this to my little brother." And you think like, "Oh, he's this kid, and he should be happy to have a toy for himself," but instead he's, worrying about his siblings. And it was, I guess I realized that there's more layers to to this place than just what you see as a tourist on the surface.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I wanted the song to reflect, is like my change in experience. And there's two layers of depth to the song. You can listen to it and just hear, this happy, jolly, good time with a bunch of pot smoking, or you can look a bit deeper and listen to the lyrics and see that, there were some darker things as well.
Do you think you'd be able to use like the situation that's happened with all the comments and stuff to sort of showcase the effects of cyberbullying and stuff like that?
I think so. I think this is my first experience with this kind of response, and you hear about it in the news quite often. You hear of people going through this, and yeah, I think it's really interesting, and it's making me wonder, like, what can we do to kind of to change that? Because I don't want censorship in any way. I think that's a really negative thing, and I think the way that we can have a global discussion now is pretty amazing. The fact that we can have this kind of response is amazing, but I don't know what can you do to kind of discourage that really vitriolic, hateful, aggressive behaviour, and how can you show people that that's a negative thing? One thing I think people forget when they're writing that they're talking to an actual person.
Yeah.
And so there was one comment today. This woman, she looks really cool. She looks really funky, and she posted on her Google Plus my video with the comment at the top saying, "Who ate all the pies?" And so I answered her. I liked her comment, and I wrote underneath. I said, "I guess that was me." And
what'd you say?
I said, "But you know that they say the camera adds 10 pies." and then she wrote back, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I was in a bad time. I was having a really bad day, and I shouldn't have done that." So it was just funny to me that that's all it takes, is just showing someone, actually, hey, I'm a real person, you know. And you said that about me, and I heard it, and I was happy to make a joke about it to kind of show her, and I was really glad that was her response, which was realizing, you know, I shouldn't have done that, actually. So I think, yeah, maybe having a discussion about cyberbullying and making people realize that they are addressing a real human being, you know, because it's easy to be dehumanized with this screen in between us. I think that'll work for some people. For other people, probably not.
Yeah.
They'll be happy to know that you read it, you know.
Yeah. I've never been like a victim of cyberbullying. You seem pretty cool with it all. Did it hurt your feelings at all?
No.
No?
I think what was up there, it was upsetting to me that there are people that feel such an anger so strongly that they would say that to somebody, because I'm sure there are people that would really affect them and that would really hurt them, and that upsets me, you know, that someone would go out of their way to bring someone down. Whether or not it had that impact on me, I find that, you know, I don't take that personally.
Yeah.
But I can see why, you know, how easily people could, and that's upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've kind of been, like, you know, to me, the only way to respond to something like that is to have a good chuckle about it, really. My friends and I have been kind of laughing at some of the funnier ones. You know, my dad's been calling me a fat cow.
We shouldn't laugh, but you have to.
Yeah, exactly. What else is there to do, really?
Exactly right.
Because I can't. I mean, I think when I answered that one girl's comment, I thought that was a really positive exchange. I think that was really a good thing to do. But I don't have the time to do that to every person that's written to me.
If I was in your position, I don't think I could help myself. Not that I'd be angry, but I would just love to troll the guys that are commenting on the video. It'd be great. That
would be fun. If I had enough time, perhaps.
It would be glorious. I'd love to read those comments.
If you have a day off, we can do it together. I
will hold your hand and do it. I can't wait for it.
All right, I'm in.
Awesome. Now, you obviously, it's no secret, you were raised Jewish. Now, I'm not a religious person at all. Apparently, I went to like Sunday school when I was a kid, but I don't really remember it or anything. So I'm just curious, from my perspective, like what are the main fears when you question your faith, such as like when you did?
Yeah, so as you said, I was brought up Jewish, and then I questioned everything. It's really, you know, it's such a long process, and these beliefs that you question at different times, because it's not really one kind of aha moment. It's a slow process, but I think what was most scary and was most unsettling was realizing that all your fundamental beliefs about the world weren't true.
Yeah.
So, you go through life I was 18 when I really started questioning, and you think you have a good grasp and a good understanding of the way things work and the way things are, and then to have that carpet pulled out from under you and realize, nothing is the way that I thought it was, is very scary and very unsettling, and in a way made me really eventually empowered to want to find out things for myself and become a critical thinker and really question everything and not just take someone's word for it, because my worldview had been me taking everybody's word for it in my community who I grew up with. And so, it was ultimately empowering, but initially very scary.
Well, what triggered it for you?
Quite a few different things. One of the major things was learning about evolution in year 11 in biology class, kind of realizing, well, that's, a bit different to the literal story of the Old Testament. That's not how I thought things happened. And it just made so much sense. And I found that was the first time I found science to be so inspiring, and just like understanding that you could have knowledge about the world and how powerful that was, and how that extended your reach of ideas.
Yeah. Have you ever come across fears like that with your music?
You mean like realization?
Like, have you ever come across any fears in your music career?
Fears.
Yeah.
I think I've been performing for a really long time, and I think I dealt with stage fright really early on, maybe at like 11 or 12. So that was really handy. But you do still, I guess, putting new music out is very scary, especially like when you have like a bit of a fan base and people have responded and they like your stuff, and so then you say, I'm going to release this new album and I really hope that everyone likes it, and I don't know if they will, and that's a bit of a fear.
Well, you have a lot to live up to now with this new film clip.
Well, it definitely exceeded my fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what I expected.
Yeah. Does your dad still play violin with you at gigs and stuff like that?
Yeah, he does. We play together a lot. It's really nice.
Yeah. How important is that for you?
Extremely. It's one of my favorite moments, actually, is to be on stage together, playing music together, and that's a gift that he's given me, because I was brought up singing in his wedding band, and so he's the one that taught me about music and about performing and what it can bring to people, and so it's really special to be able to now have him come up on stage with me and share my music with other people. I think it's really special. You say
in a wedding band, I'm assuming you weren't covering like Summer of '69 and stuff. I'm assuming it's Jewish songs, yeah?
Yeah, no. It was Jewish weddings, but even the Jewish weddings have a bit of cheesy pop music. You know what my favourite wedding song to sing was? I Will Survive.
Oh, really? Can you bust out a note from it? Come on.
That's really embarrassing. Why did I do
that's
that?
a Torrent exclusive. Well, let's talk about the album. It's released June 6th. Oh, by the way, my mum and my sister wanted me to tell you that you've stolen their thunder because that's also their birthday.
Happy birthday, guys!
They don't listen. Don't worry.
Good supporting family.
Yeah, I know, just like your dad. Yeah. So yeah, obviously must be very excited. So Morocco's on the album, yes?
Yeah. Morocco's the first single from the album.
Is that a good sense of what the album's going to be like? Tracks like that, or is there a good diverse range of music?
I think it's pretty diverse. There's a few ballads, a few softer songs, but really everything's got that kind of summery, upbeat feel. When we were in the studio recording, the producer drew a picture of a sun on a piece of paper, and he stuck that on everybody's windows. So while we were recording, we're looking at the sun and we're, channeling that kind of summer energy. So,
yes.
I think probably not in subject matter. I think what unites the songs probably is this theme of transitioning and traveling. There's some, while I wrote the album, I guess I would say I transitioned between being a young person to a young adult and going from one relationship to another relationship to being alone. And so, all these different stages and traveling between them, and then also traveling literally to Morocco. There's another travel song on there as well. So, yeah, there's a few different things to bite into on the record.
Does Daddy Segal appear on the album?
No, he's not on this record.
Oh.
He was on my last
Yeah.
record, actually. He was playing violin on one of the tracks.
How much are you paying your dad to play the violin?
Not enough, he'd say.
The love of a beautiful daughter, that's what you're paying him with.
Yeah.
And you're also you're playing, as I said, Northcote Social Club, June 13th. Let's plug that one before you go. Who's supporting that one?
At the moment, I've got Bethany the Brave, who is my first opener, and we're still locking in the second support. But
Stay tuned for that one.
Local muso, and she's beautiful. Anyone would be very lucky to hear her.
Was it Beth the Brave, was it? Is that what her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Beth and the Brave.
Okay, cool, Beth and the Brave. And is the plan, like, after the gigs, is it from just more touring? Are you going international again, or what's the go? I highly advise you don't go back to Morocco for a while.
Yeah, so I'm going to be touring, and then I'm going to be back in the studio making my next project. And then I'm going to the UK. I'm going to be doing a 1-month tour in October.
Nice one.
I'm going to be going over there for a conference, playing at a conference, and a couple of different cities. And yeah, then I'll be back and hopefully release my next project.
Sounds good. Now, is there anything else you would like to tell listeners before I let you go?
Yeah, just thanks for listening, and thanks to Timeless for having me, and yeah, have a listen to the song, see what you think, make up your own mind, don't listen to the media.
Yes, that's it. All right, well, make sure you check out the video, as Shelley said, of her new single, Morocco, on YouTube. Grab a copy of her album in an easy escape once it's released on June 6th. And for the latest news and info, you can like her on Facebook, facebook.com/shelley.segal.music. Once again, Shelley, it's been a pleasure, and good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you.
No worries. Catch you later.